Diana. The name alone evokes a whirlwind of emotions, captivating beauty, captivating tragedy. While she dazzled the world, whispers swirled around the House of Windsor. Her husband, the future king, remained an enigma to the public, and the cracks in the royal facade began to show. Princess Diana's life wasn't a fairy tale. It was far more complex, a web of controversies culminating in a heartbreaking loss. But the story doesn't end there. Years later, a shocking revelation. Prince William, in a stunning move, leaks secrets about King Charles, shedding new light on Diana's story and confirming long-held suspicions. Join us as we delve into the untold story of Princess Diana, where the truth is far more shocking than the headlines. The royal family was filled with secrets. Princess Diana's son, Prince William, has reportedly divulged details regarding his father's death, as well as secrets concerning Prince Harry and King Charles, according to the most recent royal biography. But the Prince of Wales and other friends and supporters of the future king have banded together to back him. British tabloids have recently been buzzing about Endgame, a book by famous royal analyst Omid Scobie. Scobie previously wrote Finding Freedom, a biography of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Following King Charles's reign, the first book in the series, Finding Freedom, shows the royal family in all its turbulent glory. The book claims that Prince William was the one who revealed every single secret involving King Charles and the royal family. Furthermore, it provided more evidence for what many had suspected even before the book came out, that the meeting of King Charles and Diana was anything but accidental, and that no member of the royal family should ever have their secrets revealed. It appears that unfortunate events occur when they do. However, it is necessary to comprehend Princess Diana's family and early life before delving into it. Princess Diana's family and background. Prince Charles was not the first member of the royal family to whom Princess Diana was born into a lengthy line of relatives. Her parents, the future Earl Spencer and Mrs. Shand Kidd, were the Viscount and Viscountess Althorp. What you don't know, though, is that the Queen's private estate Sandringham was the site of Diana's birth. Here she was known as Aunt Lilibet and played with Princes Edward and Andrew as a child. Diana's parents were both members of the royal family. Her father was an equerry for Queen Elizabeth II and King George VI, while her mother was the Queen Mother's court lady. Their 1954 wedding was a major social occasion because the Queen was there. Despite appearances, Diana's childhood was marked by family struggle and secrets, even if it seems like she was doomed to live out a fairy tale. Famous parents John and Frances Spencer were secretly married to each other, but their marriage was unhappy. Although Diana's 1961 birth was a cause for celebration, the couple had already experienced the devastating loss of a son shortly after his 1960 birth, and the anguish from that loss was palpable. Though the arrival of her brother Charles 3 years later brought joy, it also caused tensions to escalate. The relatives stayed. When Sarah and Jane, her older sisters, moved off to boarding school, Diana was left to deal with family strife alongside her younger brother. Diana tried to flee the chaos, but to no avail. Her parents' marriage fell apart while she was a teenager. Their relationship was significantly more complicated than the public understood, and Diana eventually exposed the secrets, including physical abuse and adultery. According to the official version of events, her mother had an affair and left her husband. However, a great deal more was involved. Following Frances's departure, they got into a custody dispute, which John won thanks to the support of Frances's mother. The separation from her mother had a profound impact on Diana, who was 7 years old at the time. Nannies brought up Diana and her brother Charles before they went to boarding school with their sisters. Diana had a harder time focusing on her studies than her sisters did. She preferred to spend her time socializing and participating in extracurricular activities. Diana, her sisters, and Iris shared one trait despite all their differences. But we'll get to that. They thought the same guys were handsome. While Diana was not in class, she resided at Park House on Norfolk's Sandringham estate. This meant that Diana occasionally crossed paths with the royal family, but she was perpetually uneasy in their presence. Since Diana had previously called Norfolk home, her father's 1976 marriage to Rain, Countess of Dartmouth, caused further friction in the family by relocating them to Northamptonshire. Because of how tightly she was bound to her stepmother, she and her siblings affectionately called her Acid Rain. So you can probably guess what kind of bond they shared. Diana almost shoved Rain down the stairs when she made derogatory remarks about Diana's mother, which escalated the tension. However, her family's problems were only beginning. When Diana's father passed away in 1978 due to a brain hemorrhage, her prophetic visions regarding his health came true. The family rift became even more pronounced when the rain stopped the kids from paying him a hospital visit. Diana dropped out of high school at the age of 16 after failing her O-levels twice, as you might expect, due to the disruptions at home. Diana found freedom. She moved to London at the age of 18 after becoming a nanny in her pursuit of autonomy. Living with friends and working odd jobs like nannying, dancing lessons, and cleaning was Diana's first step towards independence there. In contrast, Diana's relatives were quite ambitious about her future. Sarah, her sister, was the pioneer in taking action. Diana discovered Sarah hosting an unannounced visitor, Prince Charles, during her stay at Althorp. Sarah admired him and secretly had feelings for him. She was quite loving. Diana, who was 16 years old at the time, thought he was a sad man and thought he was uninteresting. This was the initial impression that was most unexpected. But she let her sister's sentiments dictate that she not pursue his attention in her, even if she felt flattered by it. Sarah had moved on by the time Diana turned 19. When Diana and Charles struck up a conversation during their weekend visit, Charles unexpectedly revealed that he was lonely and invited her to Buckingham Palace. Even though Charles and Diana were confused, the invitations kept coming. Afterwards, while sailing, Charles proposed to Diana, which resulted in a weekend at Balmoral. Diana, though, was not yet a romantic, and therefore did not know how to deal with his undivided attention. After that, Charles started calling Diana's flat, as if he were trying to indicate a more serious matter. Camilla Parker Bowles, who had been Charles's confidant, appeared helpful at first when she sought counsel from friends during this perplexing time. The hidden influence and relationship between Camilla and Charles were soon revealed to Diana, though. In the end, Charles did pop the question, but Diana believed his sincerity was lacking. "I love you so much," he would say, without really touching a woman's heart. The big day. Diana and Charles's relationship deteriorated as the wedding day drew near. To alleviate her feelings of confinement, she resorted to unhealthy habits. Still, Diana mustered up all her courage and made her way down the aisle on the big day. Even though Charles's first name got jumbled up during the ceremony, Diana, who was both innocent and inexperienced, was still holding out hope that everything would work out. Still, she knew deep down that Charles was concealing something, and she had no idea what challenges awaited them. Even on their honeymoon, Charles spent most of his time immersed in a book throughout their first few years of marriage. Diana felt somewhat lonely since the newlyweds didn't spend much time alone. Things became even worse when Diana's bulimia issues resurfaced, despite the fact that she kept the entire affair a secret. Charles didn't appear to care much about Diana's insecurities regarding his ex-girlfriend Camilla in the early days of their marriage, which only made Diana feel worse. However, Diana's pregnancy announcement in October 1981 brought some much-needed optimism. Diana learned she was having a child while ignoring her troubles, which allowed her to adjust to her new role as Princess of Wales. However, she experienced a terrifying tumble down the stairs a few months into her pregnancy, which made being pregnant even more difficult for her. Thankfully, Mom and baby were unharmed. The much more horrific truth, however, has leaked out of this tragedy. Diana later confessed that during an argument with Charles, she hurled herself down the stairs on purpose. Charles abandoned her to go horseback riding, and he paid little attention when she yelled out for assistance. Diana requested to have the baby induced after reaching a breaking point in her pregnancy. Princess Diana's joy did not endure long, despite the healthy delivery of their son, Prince William, in June 1982. She felt quite disconnected from her in-laws and battled postpartum depression. After all the upheaval they have endured since William's birth, Diana and Charles were expecting again in 1984. On this occasion, there was an air of novelty. Diana appeared to be feeling better, and her relationship with Charles appeared to be improving. Scans revealed that Diana and Charles were expecting a son, but she hid this news from Charles since she knew he wanted a daughter. After the birth of their son, Prince Harry, the couple's hopes for a joyous moment were dashed. Charles further alienated himself, causing the Queen to feel let down. Even though Diana and Queen Elizabeth weren't particularly close, they maintained mutual respect throughout Diana's marriage to Prince Charles. Because the Queen had no idea what went on in their private lives, she placed the blame for their marital issues on Diana's bulimia. Diana harmed herself as a symbol of her extreme anger during one of their heated disputes. Again, Charles did nothing or seemed unconcerned. Diana sought solace in medication, believing that a combination of understanding and rest would alleviate her symptoms. But as her royal responsibilities mounted, Diana's pleas were disregarded, and she was left to feel abandoned and betrayed. Diana's breaking point. After 5 years of marriage, Diana hit rock bottom when she learned Charles was back with Camilla. Diana decided to play along once she saw Charles and Camilla getting cozy again. Facing James Hewitt, a member of the household cavalry and her writing teacher, she shifted her focus to him. After what began as a crush blossomed into an affair, Diana found herself facing an entirely new set of challenges. The constant scrutiny from the media wasn't the only thing that Charles did to annoy Diana. His entire family did as well. Specifically, her connection with Sarah Ferguson was cold and distant until a terrible catastrophe unexpectedly drew them together. Diana and Sarah overheard rumors of an avalanche in 1988 while Charles, Andrew, and their wives were skiing in Switzerland, and they were quite worried. They were relieved that they were safe, even if they were worried about their husband's safety. But their buddy Hugh Lindsay wasn't as fortunate. Sarah Brennan, his wife, was supported by both Sarah and Diana throughout this tragic time. Diana took care of the burial arrangements, while Sarah was there for Sarah at every turn. Things took a turn for the worse when police began looking into Charles in connection with the accident. It was discovered that Hugh's death was caused by an avalanche that his gang had set in motion. Charles, amongst all the turmoil and loss, chose to remove his unfortunately. This wasn't the first time Diana had to endure Charles's callousness. Diana struggled with binging and purging again at first, returning to her old habits. However, she finally stood up for herself and sought treatment for her bulimia with the encouragement of a friend. At a family gathering, she quietly confronted Camilla, pleading for her respect and candor. Although Charles and Camilla were unaffected, Diana made great strides forward. As she battled through it, she also began to open up more and re-establish relationships with individuals. Spending time with common people and listening to their experiences helped her feel more connected to the world around her as she accepted her role as the people's princess. Additionally, Princess Diana was not afraid to stir up trouble, particularly when it came to dismantling stigmas around HIV/AIDS. Her audacious gesture of hugging and shaking hands with an AIDS patient sent a strong message that the virus and its victims are not hazardous. Her moving address, in which she challenged societal views about the illness and called for compassion and understanding, was a watershed event. However, Diana had a difficult 1992. The death of her father, John Spencer, was the first in a string of devastating personal losses she endured. With the help of her son, Diana decided to come clean about her troubles in 1992, after they had been kept under wraps for much longer, in a book titled Diana. Diana finds love again. She entered into another secretive romance after her breakup with Charles. Hasnat Khan, a heart surgeon of British and Pakistani descent, captivated her. They loved one another very much, but Khan's reclusive personality was a hindrance. The pressure became too much for Diana, and she began to fabricate stories in order to conceal their affair. They considered getting married, but Khan was concerned that the media would turn the ceremony into an invasion of their privacy. Still another potential roadblock. Diana's mother's disapproval of her daughter's relationship with a Muslim caused friction between the couple and ultimately led to their breakup. No one knows for sure what prompted the breakup that occurred in 1997 after they had been together for nearly 2 years. Later trends showed that many thought Khan was Diana's soulmate, but she appeared to move on quickly. Diana crossed paths with Dodi Al-Fayed, son of Egyptian millionaire Mohammed Al-Fayed, on a summer vacation in 1997. Although their romance flourished while on cruises, the media gained wind of it, and evading them only led to further heartbreak. The night that changed everything. After leaving the Paris Ritz in a car driven by Henry Paul and accompanied by bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones, Diana Dodi and her companions never made it to their destination. The Pont de l'Alma tunnel was about to be crossed by a swarm of paparazzi motorbikes. Car never got away, unfortunately. Splattered across the gloomy site were the tunnel walls and pillars where it had crashed. Even as some photographers hurried to lend a hand, others blatantly persisted in taking pictures. Doctors and nurses rushed to the scene to help the wounded passengers, but Diana was not one of them. At the hospital, her injuries were determined to be more serious than first suspected, and she was declared dead. It was tragic in the aftermath. Interred outside Kensington Palace were millions of flowers, as Prince Charles and Diana's sisters hastened to France to return home. Princess Diana's burial was a time of public grief during which her sons, William and Harry, had to make a tough choice. If they attend the funeral, will they be the center of attention? It was difficult for the royal family to accept Diana's passing as well. Before the sun came up, Prince Charles had to rouse his sons and break the terrible news. As they mourned, the family was criticized for how they handled the loss. However, William and Harry were supported by Prince Philip's guidance to participate in their mother's burial procession, which helped them get through their sadness. Many doubts lingered after the event, which was witnessed by millions. Investigations, the aftermath of Diana's tragic death. A flurry of inquiries and claims of conspiracies followed Diana's untimely death. There were others who thought the driver was drunk and wanted to know more about the investigation, while others, like Dodi's dad Mohammed Al-Fayed, thought there was foul play. Although Mohammed did finally stop trying, his suspicions continued and added to the mystery surrounding Diana's death. The suspicions directed towards Diana were not new. Frequently, she had the impression that the royal family, or what she referred to as the firm, was out to get her. A disturbing occurrence occurred with the leaked Squidgygate tape, which her staff thought was released on purpose to make her look bad. Still, her unwavering belief reached even deeper levels. She thought Charles was not only unfaithful, but also plotting something sinister, like eliminating her so that his purported lover Tiggy could have her all to himself. She used to be terrified of Barry Manicky, her former security. Seeing how much Diana cared about Barry prompted a tabloid to cover their romance. Diana's intuition was further strengthened by Barry's tragic death in a vehicle accident, even though official investigations determined it was an accident. In addition, rumors regarding James Hewitt's alleged relationship with Prince Harry and the resurgence of the scandal surrounding his 1991 affair with Diana were both sparked by his efforts to sell some of her letters. The years following his mother's untimely death have been difficult ones for Prince Harry. His announcement to resign from his position as senior royal with Meghan Markle stunned the royal family in January 2020. There was a worldwide uproar over their intentions caused by this action. The fact that Harry wanted to shield his own child from the stresses of royal life, perhaps shaped by his own horrific experiences, was widely regarded to be a major factor. Harry and Meghan finally speaks out. The couple finally addressed the months of speculation in tabloids by giving an interview that revealed their true feelings. Despite the constant pressure from the media and her difficulties with mental health, Meghan courageously spoke about her life as a royal. The alarming thing she revealed was that the royal institution ignored her when she asked for assistance. As if that weren't bad enough, Diana had been trying to spill the beans about her own secrets for some time. Harry was equally forthright in his criticism of King Charles, his father, for what Harry saw as his coldness and lack of support following Diana's death. Many believe that Prince William, Princess Diana's other son, leaked every secret about King Charles and his relationship with Harry. This has only added to the anguish that Harry feels over Diana's death, as new details regarding his father's involvement with him keep making the rounds. Harry said in 2022 that someone in the royal family, maybe even William, was leaking secrets about him and Meghan. It may have been King Charles himself. Further confirmation of this came in 2023 with the leak of the book Endgame, which made reference to King Charles's eldest son, the one who may have been behind the conspiracy against his younger brother. After putting his brother's loyalty to the monarchy ahead of his own, William allegedly released information that could undermine Harry, as detailed in a Daily Mail article based on Scobie's book and interviews. Their already tense relationship was further confirmed when the king called Harry a stupid as a result of the book. King Charles was reportedly too busy to meet with his son, publicly dismissing him with grace in 2024, according to a new leak. New information regarding the royal family and previously unknown details about King Charles have prompted further speculation regarding Diana and her sons, as well as the idea that appearances can be deceiving. Tragic, right? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more thrilling videos like this.